Whew. I don't have a shirt yet, but it's in the mail. And let me just say, my boy no longer plays for the Pats, but I'm still celebrating in any way I can. Let me just say, oh my goodness gracious, Sawyer Studios Q&ASIAN episode 3. Let's get on it. Sawyer Studios says Q&ASIAN. How about that, Tom Brady? And let me just say, I'm gonna try to spend as little time on this as possible. But I gotta just say, to all you people out there who watch football, who love football, who play football, who know football, you understand the impossible feat that America just witnessed yesterday. It was phenomenal. For all of you who do not watch football, who don't know it, who maybe just watch the Super Bowl every year, let me just tell you this much. Tom Brady has been playing for the Patriots since I was in diapers. 20 years, and this is his first year in another team, in a new system, with a new coaching staff, new players, new city, moved. He did not have any preseason. He hardly had an off season. With quarantine and COVID, he couldn't even practice for a lot of it. And he was thrown in there into a franchise that had the worst winning percentage in the history of football sports. And then through a season, he went up against some of the toughest, had one of the worst schedules in the NFL. New team, reminding you. And he gets into the playoffs as a wild card. So, no bye weeks. And he goes against Washington football team, which had, I believe, ranked the number 2 pass rush defense in the NFL. He beats them. He then goes and beats Drew Brees, and beats him after a horrifying loss in the regular season. Then he takes them up to Lambeau Field in the frozen tundra and takes down the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers, a team from Florida, going to a home game up north, beats Aaron Rodgers, and then comes home to the first ever home game Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowls, and meets Patrick Mahomes, and doesn't just beat him, kept him out of the end zone. Todd Bowles' defense, I gotta give you credit, the geniusness. You played cover 2 defense the entire night, and you could rush with 4 people. That is impressive. And the elusiveness of the defense was just phenomenal. It was just a masterpiece by Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator. Anyway, but he does pass rushes. He utilizes Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin hardly saw the ball that entire game. And he wrecks the house. Patrick Mahomes did not see the end zone the entire game. I believe that is the 4th worst deficit, 31 to 4 points. 4th worst deficit in any Super Bowl ever. Patrick Mahomes, by far, worst game, shown up, exposed. Yeah, how do you like that, Tyreek Hill? Flipping a backflip into the end zone? Well, guess what? How many times did you see the ball in the first half? Oh, let's see, maybe 1? Maybe none? I don't even remember. It was so few. I don't remember seeing you at all. How many times is he going to do a backflip? Well, let's see. How about 0, flat, nothing? You were dropping passes. Travis Kelce was dropping passes. The only person who looked good on your team was Patrick Mahomes, making drop incompletions, looking very masterful, might I just add. But, oh my gosh. Tom Brady took a losing franchise, taught them how to win in a COVID season with no and he took them to a Super Bowl and won. That's just,
if I hear anyone say Tom Brady is not the GOAT of football, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to listen to on anything, because why would I listen to you if you have that opinion? That's just the dumbest thing ever. Anyway, so we are moving on to the actual questions, not the one that I have placed. Anyway, Max March asks, what are your predictions for future Star Wars UCS sets? Well, I'm going to go with the easy ones first. Lego's definitely going to make an X-Wing again. Like, they're going to make a Y-Wing again. They're most definitely going to do a Death Star. I think the Death Star is the one that I am, like, most certain that we will get at some point. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to be a Death Star 1, a Death Star 2, playset, display. I just know Lego's going to make a Death Star again. X-Wing, I'm way more confident than the Y-Wing, by the way. I think it's very important to think about that Lego, in their poll for the Gunship Nebulon B Frigate and the TIE Bomber, the TIE Bomber Nebulon B Frigate are there. Like, they were options. So, I honestly would not be surprised if we saw another poll. I heard that the Nebulon B Frigate and the Gunship were very close. Those were, like, super close together. I wouldn't be surprised if Lego did end up making a UCS Nebulon B Frigate. Now, I'm very happy that I have my Lego Nebulon B Frigate. Once again, thank you to Solomon Bike for that. That was an amazing trade. Thank you so much. But I do think those are some two options that we'd be looking out for. In regards to Master Builder series, which is certainly sort of UCS, but not really, I definitely am looking to see a Yavin 4 base. I definitely see Lego making a Yavin 4 base eventually, and an Endor bunker, just because they've already made that. And I think they'd probably make the Endor bunker before the Yavin 4 base. But Endor bunker, like a huge iconic scene, and I think that worked very well. This one I'm sort of putting as a side note. I still want to see a Jedi Temple, and I still think Lego could make a Jedi Temple. I'm just not sure when. But those are like my safe-ish predictions of UCS sets, and maybe some not so safe. But those are like the ones I feel like are most likely to be in fact showing up. We also haven't seen a B-Wing in a while. It might be around time for a remake of that at some point. And actually, you know what? I'll get to this a bit later. I'll tie into that later. That was technically a pun. All right. Scott Davis says, thanks again for meeting up. Q&ASIAN, can you talk a little about your music interest and or likes? Thanks. Yeah, so my main music interest is classical music because I am going to school for orchestral conducting, so, you know, it kind of has to be. But, like, I've always loved classical music as a kid. Like, it wasn't like something like, oh, now I have to get into classical music because I want to, like, do conducting. Like, no, I want to do conducting because I love classical music. Listening to pop songs, you just get tired of hearing the same chordal progression over and over again. I know it's catchy, but come on, like, it's just... It's so boring sometimes. So classical music, it has just, and it's kind of weird because to say classical music encompasses once you hear someone say classical music, you think of like instruments. And that's not necessarily the case because, there's different periods in music. If you look at the history, there's a classical era. And not all classical music's from the classical era. Technically, if you want to call it classical music, it should be specifically referenced for the classical era, but there's also the Romantic era, which is by far my favorite. You have the contemporary, like 20th century music. You have Baroque music. You have Renaissance. You have medieval. If you want to, listen to some really good classical music, I'm saying that as the umbrella term, not as specifically classical era. I definitely listen to like some Beethoven symphonies. That's where I got started. I think Beethoven's just explosive in its nature, just really exciting chords and jumps, and he just does everything with hemiolas, with rhythm, with dynamics, with his effectiveness with instrumentation and crescendos and everything like that. It's just absolutely phenomenal work. I personally also love Mahler. Mahler Symphony 2 is great. Dvorak is amazing. I'm just huge fans of a lot of the more exposure you get, the more appreciation you'll get. And the thing is with classical music, I don't think you can truly enjoy it if you just start listening to yourself. Like, I had people guiding me on what to listen to, explaining why this is cool. Like, I think in order to have an appreciation to the music, you can't just listen to it. You know, you can just like, you can list, you know, you can show something, you can show like a song by, I don't know, Bruno Mars or Taylor Swift and like the car, and if it's catchy, you'll like it. If it's not, then, you know, you're not. But you know, there's like it's like an intellectual aspect to classical music that definitely allows for a deeper understanding. And if you have to sort of be, there's certain pieces that I definitely would not like if I listened to it way back then that I do now, because my ears have like been, I guess, grown into like a more mature, like being able to listen to more mature music. There's definitely music I would not suggest to listen to if you're starting to listen to classical music. There's a lot of stuff that's like very jarring to the ear, because every single music that we listen to nowadays usually is very diatonic. There's not a lot of chromatic intervals. So yeah, I mean, I can probably leave a list in the description of this video for some pieces that I think you all should listen to, classical music wise, and I will hopefully remember to do that when I edit this video. Banana Brick says, cool, you inspired me to make my channel. Can I have a shout out, please? So I'd like to say that, I guess technically this is sort of a shout out because you're in this video, but I don't do shout outs. I don't do shout outs unless like I know the person who does YouTube personally and I like their channel. So I mean, there's a lot of channels I love, but like I'm not gonna shout out their channel unless like unless I really like them. Like, you have to get to like a very high level. The key thing is that, you know, I know you personally. I have looked at Banana Brick's channel. You got some good stuff, man, and I hope that you keep on working, and I'm very happy and honored that I've inspired you to make a channel and to continue that. So yeah, keep up the good work, and yeah, I hope to see you go somewhere. Doof645 says, dude, I want to buy another TIE just to convert it now. I hate that LEGO doesn't make alternate TIE fighter models. So this is what I wanted to tie into with the UCS sets, and now you can see why that's a pun. I do think we are like owed, like it's about time that LEGO started to make some other TIE models. You know, we have the TIE Fighter UCS set. I mean, we've gotten other TIE models in the past, but those are like years ago. I mean, this decade, I'm pretty sure it's just the TIE Fighter. And like, you know, sure, we had the TIE Bomber as a UCS set option. I'd rather have that as a play set more than a UCS set, to be honest. But like TIE Interceptor, TIE Defender, TIE Crawler, I don't know. Like, I really am pushing for this idea that LEGO make like a 4-in-1 TIE UCS set that's $350, you know? You can build the TIE Fighter, you can build the TIE Bomber, the Interceptor, you can build like 4 different TIEs with the pieces you give, and the price of $350. I think that'd be a really cool set idea, and most people would probably buy 4 of them. I feel like it's a very smart thing to do, and who knows, maybe they're working on it. Maybe I mean, that would be hard. I'm not gonna put it past LEGO. That would be a difficult task. I'm just saying, I think that's a great idea, and I think you should do it, because there's a lot of cool TIE models out there that I think are not getting any spotlight that they should be. It's not like they're obscure either. Like the TIE Interceptor, like that's, you know, people know the TIE Interceptor. The TIE Defender, if you watch Rebels, that was like one of the main ships in, I believe, season 2. That we saw. It was, you know, that was like one of the cruxes of the entire season, because it was a pain to deal with because it had ray shields. And then obviously the TIE Bomber, you know, Empire Strikes Back, you know, you saw that for the first time, kind of a classic ship. Indiana Skywalker says, Q&ASIAN, are you excited for the Bad Batch? If so, what Clone Wars character do you want to return? Yes, I am highly excited for the Bad Batch. And one of the reasons why I am excited is because A, I do think it's literally an extension to the Clone Wars. Obviously, it's going to be focused around the Bad Batch, but it's going to feel like Clone Wars Season 8. I love at the end of the trailer how they burned away from Clone Wars to Bad Batch logo. I think that was very fitting. I am very excited because I'm a huge Clone Wars fan, and I love the time period right after Order 66. between and then like before Rogue One. I love that time period, like the transition between the Empire and the Republic. I think that's a fascinating time period in Star Wars. I wish Lucasfilms did more of that, so I'm very happy that they decided to do this TV show. That is going to be extremely awesome. I'm also excited for the Bad Batch because more Clone Wars-esque sets. In the trailer we got to see some clone troopers, and we also got to see ATTE walkers. And I'm sure there's going to be Venators. Like, this is giving me hope that maybe Lego will make another Venator. Maybe they'll make another Clone Wars version of the ATTE. Maybe they'll make more Clone Trooper battle packs. This is like my hope that this show, like, people are asking, like, hey, when is Lego gonna make remakes of like Rogue One sets or Solo sets or I don't know, sequel sets? And here's my honest opinion. I don't think Lego is going to be making remakes of those sets literally anytime soon. And here's why. Because the way Disney has Lucasfilm set up is that, like, we're getting a crap ton of TV shows and we're getting a crap ton of movies. Like, they have a lot of stuff in the works for Lucasfilms. And Lego isn't going to remake sets from a movie a decade ago when there's new, fresh content coming out now. Mandalorian Season 3, they're going to focus on Mandalorian Season 3. If you're wondering, like, oh, they missed a couple stuff and they missed a couple, like, I don't know, vehicles or ships in Season 1 and Season 2, it's like, it's gone, off the table. They don't care. Season 3 is here and now. That's where the money is. Book of Boba Fett. You're going to see sets from Book of Boba Fett. So, looking for, like, and this example's been used a lot on YouTube, like the U-Wing. The only way we're going to get another U-Wing is if we see it in the Cassian Andor show. And that's it. It's not going to be a Rogue One U-Wing. We're not going to get another one of those, probably. Like, Lego's just not going to start remaking sets from the Clone Wars. They're not going to start remaking sets based off of, like, Rogue One, Solo. I'm even thinking the sequel trilogy. I don't even know when we're going to see remakes of that, just because of how big of a flunk it is. I don't think Lego would make remakes of sequel trilogy sets, really. Maybe, like, the Resistance X-Wing, and that's it. But, the fact that we're going to keep on getting fresh content is going to show Lego's just going to stick with the times. It's going to stay modern. And the reason why we saw so many remakes in the past is because we had gap years where we had, we had the original trilogy, and that was really it. And then we got the prequel trilogy within the course of, 6 years. And so it was just those 6 movies for a long time. And then the Clone Wars TV show came out, which was really awesome. And we got to see a lot of Clone Wars sets. Those were the good days, the good old days. And it was really just Clone Wars and the 6 movies, the 6 saga. And then Disney bought Star Wars and stopped the Clone Wars. And that's why you keep on seeing remakes of these sets. I think Lego's really in a transition, because this really didn't happen a long time ago. Then we had the Rebels wave. And then we had some Resistance sets. Then we had Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo, and Rise of Skywalker. We're slowly, every year, ceasing the remakes, like not making remakes, slowly. It is slowly, because, obviously, this past January, we had, like, a downsized X-Wing, downsized TIE Fighter, downsized Imperial Shuttle, we're going to get a downsized Slave One, but we're on this pathway where Disney is now pumping out a lot of Star Wars content, and it's not like every 3 years or so. It's not like one at a time. It's going to be multiple at a time. And Lego is either going to add on to the amount of sets that they release, which I don't think they can, because I don't think they have the manpower to do so. Or if they do, I think there will end up being crappy sets because they're not putting as much time in each set. Or they're going to have to compromise. And I think that we're going to start to see a lot less remakes. However, unfortunately, the remakes that we want to see are not going to happen. Like, of course, we're always going to get another X-Wing, we're always going to get a Luke's Land Speeder. Unfortunately, because of the new content coming out, it's just limiting the amount of space that Lego has for this is how many remakes we're going to make, this is how much sets we're going to dedicate to the new content. So, if you were looking for a remake of an old set and it's like obscure, it's not that popular, sorry, forget it, probably not going to happen. Answering the second part of the question, which completely went over my head while recording this originally, what character am I looking forward to seeing from the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch show? Captain Rex, all the way, and here's my reason why. One, Captain Rex, one of my top 3 favorite characters in all of Star Wars. In general, have to see him. Number 2, we now have a different story that is in contrast of Rebels, what we thought of how Captain Rex lost his interpreter chip. We thought he took it out personally because he believed 5s. Now we see that Ahsoka took it out manually. So I want to see, how does Rex get Wolf and Gregor to take their chips out? Or were their chips already out? I'm pretty sure Captain Rex is probably the one to get them out. I just want to see some sort of story with Captain Rex, Wolf, and Gregor. I want to see something more in depth with that, because that happens in that time period. Now, of course, I don't know if the Bad Batch are going to be allied with the Empire. I don't know if they're going rogue. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I don't know what storyline or what direction they're going to go. I mean, whoever it is going to be amazing because it's Dave Filoni. But I just want to see Captain Rex involved in at least a couple episodes. I think he's the guy I want to see the most, because I mean, who knows? You know, we might get another Captain Rex minifig, another Phase 2 Captain Rex. First of all, in Lego. So if they show him in the show, they might make him in Lego. Second of all, I just want to keep on seeing his development of character. He's one of those characters that I was like, oh, he's a clone captain from the Clone Wars. He has some nice lines. But then, Dave Filoni really started to craft him into just a main driving force of the saga. And I really want to see his story be connected between Rebels and between Season 7 of the Clone Wars. So, Captain Rex. Lego Fanatics 2222, Q&ASIAN, what's your best Lego purchase or deal? I have to say my best Lego deal, this is off the top of my head. I pretty sure this is, okay, actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is true. So the C-3PO, the gold limited edition C-3PO, 1 out of 10,000, the stuff that you could find in a 2009 set. 2007, sorry, 2007 set, yeah. I think, wait a minute, now I don't remember. It was one of those years, 2007, 2009, I can't remember. That's kind of like the pinnacle of collecting of Star Wars. That's like the thing that, if you're a major collector, if you have that, you're now taken seriously, because you now have a 1 of 10,000 chrome gold C-3POs. And I was looking for one because, I found out they existed. I was like, okay, being a Lego collector, I really want one. I was looking, I was like, these go for like $750 to $1,000, even $1,200. Like, that's expensive. Looking at eBay and all that stuff, I'm like, how the heck am I gonna get one? That's so much money. And then one day I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and I found one for $500. I was like, okay, that's like $200, the lowest of the low. That's really good. I messaged the seller. He lived in, I want to say Maryland. I think it was Maryland, or Rhode Island. It was something like that. And I was like, hey, would you take $450? Trying to get the price lower. We talked it over and stuff, and I explained, I'm coming from New York. I'm driving down. He's like, because you are making the drive, I'll bring it down to $450. So I actually do have this on record. If you want to go check out my adventure Lego vlog video, that was super fun. Got a lot of cool Lego purchases during that video. So yeah, definitely go check that out. But yeah, I went down and I got one. I got a chrome gold C-3PO, and it was sealed. Let me just remind you, it's sealed, new, like not used. Completely sealed. I checked everything. I checked it. It was legit. It was a legit chrome gold C-3PO, authentic. I got it for $450. I just don't think you'll ever see a deal like that again. And that's just one of those deals that I think are in the history books. Now, as far as it comes to sets, I will have to say my best Lego deal ever was getting the Lego UCS Death Star for $325. That was an amazing deal, and you can actually watch that in my Lego haul video that I did last fall. But once again, Facebook Marketplace, looking online, someone was selling the UCS Death Star 2. Complete. It was used, So, it wasn't new, but still, $325. That's amazing. That set used goes for like 1,000. It's just like, those two, really the pinnacle of my Lego collecting years. Like, just the best deals I have gotten away with. I don't know how, but those two are the ones I have to say. R, literally just the letter R, says, really hate to say it, but you need to sell a few sets and grab the docks. I know they're crazy expensive, but having it all together is really something. Yeah, and I have one thing to say about that as the last question of this episode of Q&ASIAN. No. I just don't have the money. And, like, sell stuff. The sets that I would be willing to sell, I've been scrapping for parts so I can actually make my mock. And let me just tell you, this mock right here looks absolutely phenomenal. Like, go check out my week 3. It's, like, beautiful. So, it's worth it. Anyway, yeah, the sets that I want to sell, I'm scrapping for parts so I don't have to spend money on buying bricks. So I really don't have the money for the city docks. I don't think I'll have money for the city docks anytime soon. So I'm probably not going to get the city docks. Plus, looking back on it, I didn't like it. I didn't really like what I saw. If I ever have extra money, sure, I'll probably pick it up. But as of right now, I'm probably not going to spend money on it for the next several years. So, maybe eventually, but not at this moment. Alright everyone, that's Q&ASIAN episode 3. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. Don't forget, comment down below on this video or any video really, or any questions of Lego, Star Wars, or my life and such and such. Don't forget to put the words Q&ASIAN at the front. And yeah, I will be seeing you all in the next episode. So everyone, be safe and go Brady!